Hi everyone, I'm here through the portal sharing my life review, and more specifically my greatest regret, which was most of my life in fact, where I could in my life review see how my actions throughout my life influenced the minds of so many people, and how my words and my actions influenced those people and also generations beyond that. So within this interview, I'm going to share, my particular phase within my lifetime, and how and why it is that I came to see how that time or time frame affected other people's minds, and so other people's lives, and also generations beyond that. In my life experience, I utilized violence and militant force and conflict to, shall we say, initiate a movement or a change within my country. And what I didn't realize within my lifetime, obviously, is the extent to which my words and my actions would live on, in the minds of people, and how it would snowball within people in their very being. And I mean, snowball is that memories of my words and my actions would live on, and it would become an infection, in fact, in people's minds and people's lives. Now, essentially, to be quite frank, it was like I had lived into being a disease that would infect people and their minds, and corrupt it to such an extent that it would literally pass on, I became like an infectious disease even after death. So here are some things that I would like to clarify within this life review, and that is that, if you, for example, find yourself, looking up to any one specific person, and this specifically within this existence, and you do not consider, the person in relation to, what it had to take for them to become who they were and what they did. You can easily look up to someone and miss a lot of the reality of their especially their decisions and their behavior. Like, for example, in my life review, I came to realize how many people looked up to me, and essentially, looking up to me as a leader. But the example that I set was that of conflict, of violence, of war, of deliberate taking the lives of people. And I by no means warranted a looking up to in any way whatsoever. I would say, that there is a point in a person's existence where their actions, no matter what the purpose within it, where their actions take them to a point of no return, in the sense of even being regarded as human. And personally for me, you know, in relation to the leader and, you know, me being looked up to and essentially followed by so many people, that I myself would not have in any way called myself human. Initially, I mean, I could say that there was a part of me that, you know, wanted to do good. You know, I would say wanting to be good is just a step away from being bad. In other words, my intentions might have been pure, but my actions were by no means pure or good. And, you know, I would always within myself like want to say that you know, this is for a specific purpose. You know, my purpose is equal to the conflicts, the violence, the war, the deliberate taking of life. But the fact of the matter is that there was this force within me, an interest that was greater than my purpose, than my intentions, than my wanting to do good. And this force was the very fact that I became, shall we say, obsessed, you know, with the experience of power that I could draw from the people that followed me and that started following me. And it's like a human mind is by no means programmed or hardwired to be able to mentally handle and deal with, you know, so much illusionary power that is drawn from other people, from followers. So in all the dimensions of my mind and my being, what stood out for me the most as I was walking my life review was the fact that I liked the power that I had and I wanted more of it. And you know, you kind of within that power completely lose yourself. And to keep myself sane, if you will, within and throughout the phase within my lifetime where I was the leader of this particular movement, utilizing force as conflict and violence and war for change. What I used to keep me sane was the fact of that starting point of my intentions, and that I, shall I say, validated and excused and justified the means that I needed to use for that purpose, which was obviously the conflict, the violence, and the war. So what I had found is that many other people, you know, within and during that time and also after my death, they would look up to me in such a way because they were more attracted to the illusion of power than really seeing me as a person and what I did to countless other people and their lives and their livelihood. So, I mean, for anyone within themselves, if there is any person, you know, in current time or in history that had taken such extreme measures, you know, of conflict, of violence, of war, you know, however good the intentions within and behind it, I challenge you to look at the position that such a person was in. Look at the condition and the status and the situation within the particular country. And I would challenge you to do some research, some investigation into other ways and means as solutions to the problems that countries faced, or that particular country faced, or that particular person faced, and devise solutions that do not in any way use conflict or violence or war, that do not use killing and murder and destroying and ruining of lives and infrastructure and this earth. So within this, what I would like to share is that, I'm sure that there are still people on earth, or shall I more say people's minds, that look up to people like myself, see like walking into a situation within a country with militant force, waging violence and wars as something to look up to. That it's probably taken a lot of courage, and it had to take a lot of leadership skills, and it had to take a lot of responsibility to manage all the followers' minds and things like that, but not at all. I would say, in terms of what I had done in my life, by no means stands within the definition of responsibility or courage or leadership or power. Because if anything, what I did lead people's minds into, and not only their minds, but people that they were in relationship with, their families, then especially the generations that were coming and are to come as the children, how it is that I had mentioned in the beginning of the interview that I don't in any way even see myself as human, or the fact that I in any way warrant any credit for who I was and what I did within my life, because all I could see in my life review as the outflows of my words and my actions was how it was infecting other people and how it would affect their lives and other people's lives. And that was a profound and shocking moment for me, because so many of us don't realize the extent to which our words and our actions affect and influence other people. And I am truly greatly and deeply sorry, that I even lived, or that I even existed, because in my life review I had to stand before the fact that I infected and affected people's minds and lives to such a degree and extent, and I can do nothing to change it. So my forgiveness process in my life review was pretty tough for me personally, with seeing what I did within my life review of my life experience. And I would say that I was more an external example of what we as normal people really do within your words and actions, even in the small. Like, yes, sometimes your words and actions can be but a moment, and it won't have any significant effect on another person's mind, and so life. but there can be moments where your words and your actions can have an exceptionally significant effect on another person's mind and so their life, and literally become like a disease that will spread through that person and into other people, you know, within their life. So what I would like you to take from this life review is firstly the challenge of when you see currently, you know, any person utilizing war or violence for change, sit back, investigate the person, investigate the situation, investigate the country, investigate what's really going on, and see if you can devise ways where we can find solutions that do not incorporate such type of means. Because if anything, you know, that is a gift that you can give to yourself and generations to come. The challenge to, instead of fighting, let us create solutions. And then secondly, to take from this interview is, you know, to become more aware of your words and your actions in your relationship to others. More importantly, when your words and your actions contain emotion, contain energy. I mean, if I look at my life, what drove me was the emotion of power, and where power had become more of an emotional experience for me inside of my mind. And through this, you know, you will come to learn what it means to be a real leader in this lifetime. A real leader is someone that brings through change. I, using conflict and war and violence, was not a leader and was not an example in any way. I mean, there were many that have gone before me that used the same means, that approach things exactly the same way. I mean, you know, that's no change, that's nothing different, nothing new. No one's learning from it because it's just the same pattern over and over and over again. So to become a true leader means to really bring through change and to be innovative within it. And I would say the way to do that is to look for solutions and create solutions. That's a complete different approach to what has always been used to try and change what is here within humanity and this earth. Right, so here are quite a few dimensions to consider within your personal process and your personal life experience. You know, to not leave your legacy behind as a disease in people's minds, an infection that will spread throughout time, but that we leave our legacy behind as a cure, you know, as real solutions, real creations of what we can make of ourselves, and, you know, really contribute and enrich and assist and support the lives of humanity and this earth. Thank you very much.